think that was maybe it. Got it. Love it. Well, welcome everyone. Pastor Robertson and I are excited to host our final 2022 sports sector meeting, and appreciate you all making time for us today. Primarily, I think this, like I said, this is going to be a pretty concise meeting. As we head into 2023, we really have targeted and scoped out the potential of doing a community report brought to us by the Aspen Institute. We'd love to kind of share that idea with you guys, talk about what it's going to take to make that happen, and then discuss any questions you might have, try to answer as much as we can, and then allow us to talk about how we might move forward with next steps
across the country.
On that. Is that right? So Robin, is that your other meeting that we're looking to?
Kids and adults as well.
Yeah. He's multitasking.
Yes, he is. So here's our agenda, everyone, just so you can see it. It really focuses on this mini state of play. If anyone is interested in what the state of play is all about, they can go to the Aspen Institute Project Play website and see several different examples of different municipalities and communities that have used this report to really do a deep dive into what is happening as kids engage with youth sports in our community. The idea from the outset is to find some common ground and some discussion points around how we can do a better job of meeting the needs of children across our city, reinforcing the benefits of physical activity and exercise as part of their participation in youth sports, and what that means, and how we can create more equitable access, the same types of quality of sports participation, and also not leave any kid left out in the equation as we move forward. And as we've discussed internally amongst our group, which includes Robin and Adrian and I and Shelley, and we really feel like this is the next step for us. Pastor Robertson, do you have anything that you want to add or share? Or Robin, would you like to kind of round out the discussion a little bit for us as we talk about this?
I think you're doing a, I think what you're saying is right on point. Good afternoon for those whom I haven't met. I have been extremely busy with the football league and getting everything to close out our season last week. And so Bill has been tremendous in staying on top of all this. So I don't know how much more I could add. He and Shelley have been just busy, and Robin. So I think you guys would have more input, but what you see here is pretty much a great step. So again, thank you all for being a part of the sports sector, and let's see how we grow this thing in 2023.
Right. And so Robin is working with Aspen Institute to receive a proposal. Robin, you can just shake your head whether or not you've received that proposal or not. Not yet? Okay, he wants me to hold. I did have an incredible discussion yesterday with Lewis Mays, who's the vice president of community relations for the Kansas City Royals and helps run Royals Charities. And they were really interested. Robin, he's interested in talking to you about the Kansas City Physical Activity Plan. He really wants to understand it. He's been with the Royals for 2 months now. He's Amanda Gross-Didier's boss. And I met with her last month, and then she had me meet with Lewis and kind of present to her what we were doing. And when I started talking about physical activity, they started talking about what they want to do in the next 3 to 5 years with Royals Charities. And they would like to have something that they can anchor Royals Charities around. And physical activity was one of the things that they thought was a real possibility for them when they think about what it is that they want to do, engaging with the community. And I see that as a potential like game-changing partnership for the Kansas City Fiscal Activity Plan if an organization would step up and work alongside what you guys are already doing, what we are already doing with it. And I just think it just plays into a lot of different opportunities and also encourages other organizations to step up to be a part of what this Kansas City Fiscal Activity Plan can ultimately mean for everyone in our community.
So, Bill,
Yes.
when you talked to them, were you able to share the anything about the Aspen Institute and their experience with creating the state of play in other areas of the country?
I love that you asked that. The wonderful piece of this is that Lewis Mays comes from EA Sports, and then prior to that, he was with Nike, and prior to that, he was with Walmart. He's kind of he has a pretty incredible, his whole career has been built around community relations as it pertains to corporate philanthropy for some major brands. And he already knew about the Aspen Institute. He knew all about Project Play and had a lot of familiarity with what it was I was talking about. And that afternoon, after I met with him, he hit me up with an email saying, I want to talk to Robin Shook right away. And I want to talk with me more about the Aspen Institute and what it means to bring this game-changing community research project to fruition. And I think that's going to be a pretty common response when we start taking this to possible sponsors and donors. I think people are going to be excited about it, knowing that we have a legitimate targeted plan for under $100,000 that is going to give us this wealth of information and research that we can anchor a lot of the activity that we would be doing in our community around and really know that we're targeting the right areas with the help that we're providing and the work that we're doing.
And do you know if I'm speaking specifically about the Royals charities, are they a group that would have any issue with other sports teams in the area being involved in supporting the same report?
I don't know. We talked about the Hunt Family Foundation being involved too. So I think no, I would see that obviously we would want everyone to be in the same boat, rowing the same direction, doing the same things for the good of the kids, good of the community. They seemed open to that. And I've always felt like Royals Charities was more open than some of the other and I don't know, maybe Ruth has some background to share with her relationships with some of these major sports teams, but I would think that Victory Project would be excited. I think that the KC Current would be excited. And I think that if we were able to get the 4 or 5 major sports franchises in our city to get behind this, it would be a significant thing for all of us. And I think it would mean a lot to them too.
It looks like Jay has his hand up. I'm going to let him.
Yeah.
Jay.
Yeah. Sorry, I have my camera off because I'm eating and no one needs to see that. But I was wondering kind of the same thing that Shelley was wondering. Like, is there a forum where you can engage all 3 sports kind of community relations, charity arms, whatever you want to call them, kind of at the same time to just get them all involved in the process, kind of all at once again, kind of establishing with them that they could be a partner in donating some money for the Aspen thing, but then eventually just being partners for, our whole sports sector. I don't know.
Okay, so let's take a step back and we're currently a committee of 6 here, or 7. One of our initiatives is to create a Kansas City Youth Sports Alliance. We want to talk to the Kansas City Sports Commission about helping lead that effort, where we invite all the different stakeholders and players in the community that are interested in helping push physical activity and create physical activity programs for kids using sports as the connective platform. That, is the sports sector strategy. And Jay, you and I and Pastor Robertson and Shelley and Robin have continually talked about what this might mean to bring together this group. We've had 1 or 2 meetings that have, been somewhat productive, but also somewhat, looking at each other going, who else should be here? I do think that this kind of parallel paths here a little bit, where we target this research process, this research project that we're talking about with the partnership with Aspen Institute. It increases the significance of what it means to bring a group together to talk about the youth sports in our community. There's a really good model to look at in Milwaukee. They've done a really good job with the Milwaukee Youth Alliance, and they have a website. It's really well done, and it's something that we would want to model after. I thought next time we met, we would talk a little bit about the Milwaukee model. But there's other communities that have done this. I don't think it's, there's no such thing as an original idea. We're all just copying one another, but I do think that in concert of, having the Aspen Institute come in and also really pushing forward that strategy of forming the Kansas City Youth Sports Alliance, both play really well together in concert. Anything to add?
Yeah, I was
this
just
is all-
wondering if there was like something going on where we can engage them. I mean, obviously we want to create that, but I didn't know if there was anything that
I don't
happens
know of anything.
yearly or anything like that where they would get together.
I don't know of anything like that. That would be something we would have to create. I think we could. I think Ann Sharp would show up. I think that Amanda and Lewis and Kyle Vania would show up. I think we could get Chuck Castellano to come, and we could talk to the Victory Project and get their team to come. I think that's I know Ben Aiken really well at the KC Current, and I'm sure he would participate in it. We've had many conversations about this, and so and I know the Kansas City Monarchs pretty well. I think my brother might show up, so I don't know. There's a lot of these things that we can probably make happen if we think it's a good idea. I love the idea. Anybody have any other thoughts? Okay. Well, given that we still have to learn a lot, Ruth, do you have any comments one way or the other, or any questions that you might have about this? I mean, I know it's your first time to join us, and we want to make sure that you're part of this group. I think you're an important piece to the puzzle.
Yeah, well, I'm taking it all in, and I did have, I had a chat with Shelley and Robin not too long ago, and they gave me a little bit of the history, so I'm not coming in completely in the dark. But I guess just as I'm looking at the notes that you've got on the screen, I just want to make sure I understand. So you're saying the school sector is interested in collaborating to provide sports sampling after school. So you're talking in that regard, you're talking about going right into a delivery mechanism to versus in the bullet above, we're talking about doing the research study and then developing the initiatives after the research study. But in the meantime, also trying to work something with the school sector. Am I understanding that correctly? Just kind of the sequence of all the notes that we're looking at here.
Yeah, I would say that the school sector is interested in collaborating with something new that we would have to get some information from Shelley and Robin on. I haven't heard that that's a possibility, or that's something, obviously the Kansas City Physical Activity Plan is a cross-sector collaborative group that if one sector wants to do something and they can invite all the sectors to help and join them.
Yeah.
If the school sector already has this sense that in order to do physical activity within the schools, we need to include sports sampling as part of that, then the sports sector would be all in favor of helping do that and figuring out how we can be a part of it. We have, as I said, worked through the Kansas City Physical Activity Plan. We have looked at the national sports sector strategies that were presented in the National Physical Activity Plan. We've looked at those in kind of within our community, identified 3 of those strategies as our top strategies. And those 3 strategies are being worked on in 2023 as part of the sports sector focus. We're focused on these 3 specific strategies that we've identified. And the first one is a community-wide cross selection of stakeholders within youth sports to identify where the pain points within youth sports are in our community. That strategy has led us to the Aspen Institute's community report. And initially they were asking for $150,000 to $200,000 to do the community report. Since we have a lot of things already in place that make this a little bit less complicated, they have skinned their proposal to match more closely with what we need. And that's what Robin's been working on. Robin and
Right.
Shelley working on is to get a new proposal from them. We have $12,000 as part of a grant that the Kansas City Physical Activity Plan has received. And we have decided that we would apply $12,000, our money, to help initiate the beginning of this report. And then we would have to find the rest of the money through sponsorships.
Okay. So, okay. So you said there were 3 aspects. So the community-wide cross-selection of stakeholders, the Aspen, and then that progressed into moving forward with the Aspen Institute study. And then what's the third?
The third one is to focus on inclusive play environments for kids. I don't
Okay.
know exactly. I'd have to look it up, but I don't have it memorized.
Yeah, sorry, I'm playing a little bit of catch up.
No, I totally appreciate this. I get it.
So then,
I think that Shelley and Robin probably can help a little bit with
Yeah.
those strategies.
well, they did, and I have like 8 pages of notes from when the 3 of us visited, but and I guess I'm kind of drilling down this a little bit because I'm thinking in terms of one of Camp Wynn's initiatives, or through Win for KC. I mean, obviously Camp Wynn is in of itself a sports sampling initiative where, I mean, girls are from kindergarten through 6th grade are coming and learning up to, I think what the target is to have 16 different sports and activities this year. We'll do 4 days instead of 5, so it's going to be a little bit but it's only, each student attends typically 1 session, and then there's 51 other weeks of the year that we're not necessarily engaged. And so I'm looking in our strategic initiatives, haven't mapped it all out yet, but I'm looking for ways to utilize the Camp Win model where you're teaching kids about sports, but you're also integrating the Live Active curriculum, finding ways to integrate that throughout the year so that there are touch points, not just once, not for 1 week of the year, but maybe there are events and activities that we're doing, and figuring out how to bring that potentially into schools is one of the discussion points that I'm having here. So what I'm seeing is a potential intersection between some initiatives that are out there where they're identifying a need. We have a need, and the school sector is saying they have a need, and I'm wondering how do we start to bridge that, to have a conversation to say, is there room for Win for KC to maybe meet some of those needs?
Yes, 100%.
I've always thought that Win for KC was the perfect model for everything that we're trying to do to do the sports sampling and yeah, it's perfect.
I totally agree.
Yeah, I'll echo that simply because I know that most of the coaches and most of the folks we've been talking about through KC United is we've been wanting to have a year for the girl. Like all the data that shows that girls are not actively engaging post-COVID. So all the acting out that we see here in the district, the information I get from teachers and, you know, a lot of the acting out that they see is from a lot of the young ladies. And so we talked about specifically in our sports league is having a flag division for the girls and opening it up because we have more girls playing tackle this year than ever before. Blew me away. That's a whole different conversation. Some of them girls hit hard, man. Anyway, that's a different conversation. But being able to connect with other groups within like a Young Women on the Move, multiplicity of groups here in Wyandotte County and probably Kansas City, Missouri, to say if there's some way we can connect KCPA, KC United, and through WIN to get more girls actively engaged, to expand the contact, to connect, especially in the urban core. So this is really starting to make hair grow on my head because that's exactly I'm serious. That's huge is to hear that. So I'm loving the way this plan is potentially playing out, not to get away from the plan.
And I think
I
think we're finding the same thing. I'm hoping that hair is going to grow on my head too. But I think the school districts are hungry for help with physical education and physical activity. And I think that we all agree that sports sampling is a key to, to delivering the kinds of support that kids need in a variety of different ways. And I think that you're right, that Young Women on the Move and Girls on the Run and Win for KC and the KC Current and the energy behind this, and also on the flip side, the evidence that's coming back that teenage girls are coming out of COVID worse off than any other demographic or target audience that we could identify, creates a perfect storm of effort, could really help in amazing ways impact our community and fulfill the necessary desire of the Kansas City Physical Activity Plan, which is why we're here. So
yeah, especially, and I'll say this and I'll be done, is if you're talking about gathering data within the schools as far as participation, but then also the expansion of it with the potentiality for after school activity. So you know what I mean? So in school, after school, year round, all that. I think the way we're talking now really, and I'm sorry, I'm a big picture guy. I don't know how to narrow nothing down. That's why I have help. That's why Bill and all these other folks are here. But other than that, I'm always a big picture guy. So I love the way this conversation is going, especially with us being an after school initiative. So, okay, I'll be quiet.
you're good.
Well, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I want to back us up to the beginning for just a minute. And I'd like to do introductions.
You see me frantically writing down notes, trying to figure out.
Yeah, we'll give you some time to take more notes. And then I'm going to give a little bit of a big picture information and clarification to address some of the things you were asking about, Ruth, and to make sure we all have an understanding of what's going on with the plan and across the different sectors. So just to get this through this part really quickly, I'm Shelley Summer. I am the program manager for what will become the Kansas City Healthy Lifestyles Collaborative starting in 2023, formerly known as Weighing In, the program at Children's Mercy that's working to support the Kansas City Physical Activity Plan. And I wanted to make sure I introduced you all to Natalie. Natalie is the newest member of our team, and we're happy to have her joining us in the sector meeting today. So she's taking notes for us. She's also recording the meeting, so we have this moving forward. And I think you all know Dr. Shook, the director of what we're calling the KC HLC program. And what I would like to do is just make sure everyone on the meeting knows who everyone else is and sort of the organizations that you're representing, because I think that's really important as we think about making connections across sectors, but also across the different programs that each of us might be offering. So Bill, you're welcome to call the names of the people to do the introductions if you'd like to. You probably already introduced yourself, but I don't know if everyone really understands. Adrian, Pastor Roberson, your organization. I know you've alluded to it a little bit, but I don't know if they know much about it. And Bill, same with Sharewaves. I think it'd be great for everyone to know that, including Natalie.
So I'll go first. I'm Bill Brandmeier. About 4 years ago, I started an organization partnered with 810 WHB called Sharewaves. The idea at the time was to share the airwaves with youth sports organizations that wanted to bring attention to what they were doing to impact kids with the power of sports. We've since transformed our organization into a mission that we want to advance opportunities for kids to play sports. We've realize that there are access difficulties for some children based on economics and zip codes. And we feel like it's an unlevel playing field, and that the more we can give to kids in under-resourced communities, higher quality sports and more mentor coach interaction, and just it's just a great space to give kids. And as I've created this opportunity for us, I've met wonderful people in this space, and Jessica Blublau was one of my really earliest connections, and we met and I got to know what Win for KC was trying to do, and it models a lot what Sharewaves is trying to do. And so I feel like we're all kind of in the same space trying to do the same thing, and we I'm one of 8 kids, and so collaboration is part of my life. I've always been part of the team trying to clean the kitchen or make sure the house looks good. So I'm a collaborator at heart. I love bringing people together and sharing passions and focus, and then setting a course and driving. So that's what we're all about. And I'll just pass it off to the person on my left and have you introduce yourself and share what your organization's like.
Is that me?
Yep. Oh, you're
my,
I don't know.
my stuff is all jacked up, brother. I don't know what side I'm on
Okay.
right now.
Adrian, go next.
Hello, Ruth. Nice to meet you. I think we've met before. Hello, everybody. Natalie, good to see you. Everybody, good to see y'all. My name is Adrian Robertson. I'm the co-founder and executive director of KC United Youth and Family Sports and Education Initiative. We have been going strong for 13 years now. We started back in 2009, initially providing competitive football for kids in Wyandotte County. It has since morphed into a spring after school reading and math and physical activity program for kids K through 8th grade. And we're right here in the northeast part of Wyandotte County, which is the county that state statistics talk about as the worst, healthiest part of Wyandotte County. We work primarily with the 3 worst, healthiest elementary schools, Grant, Banneker, and Douglas, right here before you cross the bridge. And also we work with Carl Bruce Middle School, and we're very actively engaged with the school district and also in our community. And so we do the spring, then the summer we have a STEM camp. We had a 6-week, we started in 2016. We had a STEM sports and arts physical activity camp at Hy-Vee Arena. We were at 6 weeks. We will never again in life do 6 weeks again. We're cutting that down to 4 weeks. Then we closed the season out with our youth sports league, which is competitive youth flag and tackle football, K through 8th grade. And this was our best season yet. We had 43 teams in our league across 3 counties. All total, the numbers looks like we're somewhere around 1,100 kids that got impacted this year through KC United. So I also am honored to assistant pastor of a church here in KCK. I am the faculty chair also for the Kansas Leadership Center out of Wichita. That's what I do, and then I run my own leadership consulting business. But I'm honored to be a part of this sports sector because this KCPA, because even may look like I'm on the phone, but I'm not. I'm just taking notes because I'm looking for ways for our ministry to connect through KCPA, through KC United. And so, you know, just a couple of things about working out, because we work with a couple of housing units right across the street from where our church is. And so one of the things that she has asked us to do is to look at it from a very holistic perspective. So if we're able to get these families, which are 96% single moms, 2.93 kids per household, you know, not just taking them the gospel, not just giving them food, but just how about working out once or twice a week? How about just some type of physical activity with your kids 2 or 3 times a week? You know, these types of things. And really just hopefully expanding KC United's sports menu to really expose kids to different sports like lacrosse and tennis, and you know, not a lot of African American kids, believe it or not, in the urban core participating in soccer. But I would say soccer players are some of the most healthiest players. You can run them down that field all day and not get tired. I don't get it, but you know, I'm amazed at what they can do. And so just being able to expand the bandwidth of sports and physical activity in our community is huge for us. So that's what we are. I'll put our website in the chat. You're going to check it out. But getting to meet Bill and Robin and Shelly and this team has just been a blessing for us. So we're just honored to be here.
Jay, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Jay Robertson. I'm one of the sports medicine doctors over at Children's Mercy. So I'm a pediatrician, and then I did a fellowship in sports medicine. Yeah, just really excited about trying to get more kids involved in sports, get more access, get more kids trying more different sports. You know, I think just kind of pigeonholing everybody into the, you know, they play football, baseball, basketball is not ideal. Try to get some sports kind of outside of the standard few, you know, get some kickball leagues going or pickleball leagues going, those kind of things that kids who maybe don't want to be super competitive can still get having fun, participating, being social, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, nice to meet
Thanks.
you all.
Yeah, love the background. Ruth, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. So I'm Ruth Feldblum, and I just took over in September as the director for Win for KC, and filling some big shoes, as Bill already mentioned, with Jessica Blubaugh leaving. And you know, I'm really taking it all in right now in terms of looking at Win's programs that we have, kind of the tried and true, and then looking at how we can continue to deliver and expand maybe in different ways into new communities. Camp Win is exactly as what many of you have talked about as one of the important strategies in terms of exposing kids at an early age to a variety of different types of sports and activities, and really helping them understand that it can't, I mean, to me, first and foremost, it needs to be fun. They need to enjoy it, and building the relationships and the bonds that they do with other campers. But we also have some programming at other levels as well. So we've been working a little bit with KU on our Strong Girls program, and so we're exploring, and that's middle school age. It's after school, and it integrates, like camp, it integrates learning sports and participating in physical activity with life skills development. It's, you have some programs that are really broad and touch a lot of people, but maybe don't go as deep. And there are some programs that go really, really deep, but maybe not quite as broad. And Strong Girls is one of those programs that definitely seems to go deep versus broad. And so we're exploring what opportunities there are to continue with that program. And then we also have our youth advisory board, Thrive. So we are trying to find different ways. I also would really like to find ways to better engage adult women. And so when you're talking about having, trying to find ways for moms to experience and enjoy physical activity, whether it's a class once a week, to be able to bring that together potentially with youth programming. I mean, I feel like there's some there's some really creative and fun ways we can try to execute all of that. But my first year of WIN is really figuring out what all of the moving parts are, what's working, and where there are new opportunities to collaborate. And I feel like the physical activity plan, this whole program, I mean, when I started drilling in and I sat in on last quarter's group meeting with all the sectors, and then Robin and Shelley and I visited a little bit. I mean, there's so much potential here in terms of collaborating across sectors. I feel like that's one of the most exciting parts about this initiative. So I'm excited that WIN can hopefully play a role in all of this. And I feel like one of the key things is that we're going through and having all of these discussions and all of these ideas, and then it's how do we move from the idea generation to start pulling in, okay, this is what we want to try, this is what we want to try, and then moving into the execution. And so I'm really excited to be coming in at this point where hopefully that's a big part of the next steps is figuring out how do we start to execute.
Thanks, Ruth. I think Ryan's the last one.
Yeah, so my name's Ryan Latta, and I'm with Lenexa Parks and Recreation. I'm
Great.
the sports supervisor. I just took over in June, so I'm still learning along the way here, but we offer a lot of youth sports programming and some adult sports programming. But no, I got the email and I just wanted to hop on and see what this was all about. So nice meeting you guys.
Me too.
Thanks so much for joining, Ryan. It's nice to have you here and participating.
Ryan,
So-
are you in downtown Lenexa with the new community center and that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's a great facility for sure.
No doubt. Love it.
For sure. Okay, so just to get a little bit big picture here, there are two things that I wanted to do. And now that Robin's back, he might be able to give a little bit of an update on the state of play, which is the Aspen Institute report. But the other thing I wanted to make sure we share is a little bit more information about the implementation projects and the update that's included on here related to the schools sector. And so I'll start with that, and then I'll let Robin sort of jump in and share an update on this state of play. So like Bill already mentioned, there are implementation funds available for each of the sector groups as a result of a philanthropic donation to support the physical activity plan. So we're really excited and pleased to have that funding to support our efforts. So each of the sectors is having these conversations related to what types of activities, programs, initiatives might we want to move forward so that we're implementing opportunities for, implementing projects or making it easier for people broadly in Kansas City to be more active. And so the schools sector met last week, I think it was last week, and has always had an interest in this idea of sport sampling. And it came about as the sports sector identified their strategies and tactics, and then what their implementation groups might be. And I may be missing some, but I think there was the Alliance, Advocacy, and Access. And Bill and Adrian and Robin, you guys might clarify. I can't remember which one had this idea of sport sampling as a part of that implementation group. But there are models in Kansas City. So there was a project that we were involved in, Robin more so than me, but it was sport sampling in an after-school program in Kansas City, Missouri. They were launching the program right as COVID hit, so it was not fully implemented as intended. But they did have some really good interest and lessons learned from that program. Well, as they came and presented both to our broad quarterly meetings as well as sector meetings, there was lots of interest, just like what you're saying, lots of interest in how do we do this in other schools? How do we do this in a way to get kids either interested in sports or understand that physical activity doesn't have to be competition? And so different areas have identified ways that they might incorporate sport sampling into what they do. So one of the pieces on the agenda is Johnson County Parks and Recreation, who supports Kansas City Corporate Challenge, is working to provide opportunities for sport sampling by kids in conjunction with their activities or programming for adults related to Corporate Challenge. So that's something that is sort of a new thing that's going to start in 2023. Ruth, we've already talked about the great stuff that Win for KC does, and it is a great model that could potentially be used in other areas, whether it's after school programming or some other setting, whether it's done through Parks and Rec or whatever. The sports sector, there is one of the co-leads is the lead PE instructor for USD 500, which is Kansas City, Kansas School District. She is very interested in bringing a model like that to the district. These are just initial conversations. And so that idea was brought up. There's an interest in a smaller group getting together to figure out what would that look like? How might it work? What would the implementation steps be? And then how do you try something and then learn from it? So that's where that idea came up, all related to implementation groups, the funding projects, and how do we work across sectors in ways that propel our work forward a little bit better, and making sure we're aligning efforts and not recreating wheels when we don't have to. So I wanted to provide that background because those of us from the Kansas City Healthy Lifestyles Collaborative are attending all of the meetings so that we can bring this information to other sectors to advance the efforts and make connections to other organizations, programs, whatever that looks like. So any questions about that, how it might have come up, or interest in being involved in smaller group conversations?
Is that with Coach Romstad at KCK District 500?
No, that's Christine Scherenberg. Is that right?
Because I know she's the district athletic director.
She's the lead PE instructor for the district. Yes.
Okay, so she's the lead PE instructor. Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
You bet.
Okay.
Thanks for letting me share that, Bill.
No, that's good. No, that's excellent. And I think that the sports sector obviously would be wide open to helping with the school sector with this. And if they want us to participate, just let me or Adrian know. And Adrian obviously lives and breathes and exists within the KCK school district. It's kind of his backyard, so he knows everybody there, and everybody knows him. All right, Robin, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, sorry, it's kind of a busy time. We're doing a project with the healthcare sector, and I got invited to present at the division meeting, and they said, "Oh yeah, I was invited like yesterday," and they said, "Yeah, if you can't come tomorrow, then next one is in 9 weeks." It's like, oh well, I better come now. Yeah, sorry. I threw some updates on the Aspen Institute in a text to Shelley. I don't know if you had a chance to go over them, or I can give them now. Okay, so just quick updates. So I've been meeting with I was just looking at her title, executive vice chair or something like that. She's the second in command at the Aspen Institute Sport Division. Jen is her name. I've been in conversations with her about the state of play report or project play report, and just waiting on her. We have the proposal. We're just waiting on some clarification around timelines at this point, before we settle on the final agreement. I think that they are wrapping up a project play for Tacoma, Washington, which is interesting because they've already done one for Seattle, but now they're doing one for Tacoma, which I guess is a county over. So they're wrapping that up in the spring. And I think that they're trying to figure out that timeline before they say, here's when we would do a Kansas City project, starting in, I'll just make this up, April 2023. So we're still moving forward, just waiting on these final details before we finalize the agreement. Any questions about their proposal? I can't remember who I've shared it with or who I've discussed it with. Was it just, maybe I just Bill and Adrian just like privately maybe. So I guess maybe I'll do that. So what they typically do when they do these project play reports, and maybe Shelley, you could throw in the link to their past ones just as a reference. Normally they do these big reports that take like a year and a half to do. They're very, very comprehensive. Aspen Institute has said that they know that we are already well past where many communities start. And so we can basically skip a few steps, and we've already done a lot of data collection on our own. So we can incorporate some of that into this project. And so it's going to be kind of like a scaled down version in terms of what they do with us. So basically what they normally do in a year and a half, they can do with us in about a year. And so what we're thinking is probably it starts with 3 months or so of stakeholder meetings where we get together relevant parties that would be partners in this project, identify all the things that we want to address. They have their standard things that they include in all their reports, but then they tailor it to the community. So for example, I mentioned that Adrian has brought up, this incredible referee and official shortage in the region. So how can we incorporate those elements in this report? We know that there are already some great things happening in the adult sports with corporate challenge, KC crew. Those are things that most communities don't have. How can we include that? So we can bake that into the report on the front end. Then we would do about 6 months of data collection, data synthesis, and then the final quarter of the year would be spent planning this big summit that they would host. And so this summit would be, we could talk about what it would look like, whether it's a day-long thing or a half-long thing, but it'd be a big event that they would host, bringing in all the relevant partners that would share the results of the report, and then identify clear steps and action items to go to continue on. And really that's, I think, where we all feel the value of this report is going to be. Getting all those people, I mean, we've got a good group here right now, but we need to make it bigger and make it broader. We can bring all those people together. And so that's really, I think, what I think we're really excited about is that event. I've also met with, we started talking about funding. So total cost of the project is going to be right around $100,000. We're still, again, we're working out some details, so we got to clarify what that final amount would be, but it's going to be $100,000-ish. We have some already committed from our philanthropic things that we've accomplished already. Children's Mercy has strongly encouraged us to apply to one of their programs where we can use unearmarked philanthropy dollars to Children's Mercy to use to fund the project. Again, they strongly encourage me to do that. So I'm optimistic that there might be some opportunities there. And then we can also, Bill, I think, has been working on this and thinking a lot about this, identifying who from external partners could we ask to partner. And the Bill knows more about this than Bill has forgotten more about this than I know. But essentially, we want people to put a little skin in the game, and that can mean a lot of different things. It could be financial skin in the game, it could be participation in these stakeholder committees, things like that. But I think the financial piece will be part of it. So with that, I'll kind of stop and open it up for questions if there are any.
We have about 5 minutes left. I didn't think we would take an hour, but we did. I do appreciate everyone's time. And this is the final meeting of 2022. And I think we end 2022 on a really positive note, even though I feel like, halfway through the year, we kind of lost our steam and momentum. We picked it up, and I'm really excited about what 2023 is going to bring. My hope all along, and, Ruth, even early on, I talked to Jessica about the potential of having the Aspen Institute's, name on some of the things that we're asking the Kansas City community to help us with. And I think it will bring a lot of gravitas to what we're asking and some significance. Having a sports council kind of Aspen Institute sports group here in Kansas City well, I think it could be one of the, significant events that takes place that kind of sits underneath all the awesome things that are happening, like the NFL draft and the World Cup and the KC Currents new stadium and all the other things that can, Chiefs winning the Super Bowl and the Royals coming back and winning the World Series. So, but I do think that it's a significant milestone and marker for us, and especially in this space of physical activity when it comes to engaging our youth and our community. And so super excited about the future in 2023, and appreciate Robin and his leadership. Excited about their new brand and name for their division at Children's Mercy. I think it represents a lot more of what they're all about, and has a significant opportunity for them to grow. And Shelley, you're just the best. And your team is now assembled. We have Natalie and Katie, and it really feels like we're hitting 2023 with the right stride.
So here's my question. So Zoom is cool, but I hate it. I hate it on everything I love. I'm just gonna put that out there. Y'all pray my strength. Amen. So everybody else I work with, boards, they got together somewhere and they celebrated. Like, I like cigars. It's probably ain't healthy, but I like cigars. And every once in a while, I might have a little snip. So can we, I know this is Zoom, but is there, because the work that you all did this year is just saying it with words to me, just it's cool, Bill. But just to be able to see a face with a body that's breathing and to shake a hand, or if ain't nobody scared to hug somebody, tell them thank you. I would hope that we could come together somewhere before the end of the year and say, you know what? I really appreciate you. And Bill can buy rounds for everybody. So I'm just gonna say it like that. But
Here's one idea that I've been thinking about. I know we talked about Hy-Vee Arena, something like that. I also was wondering about maybe doing like something midday or something at like Chicken and Pickle.
yeah.
You guys
yeah.
ever get, and go, you could play a little pickleball, we could just
Rag
relax.
Yeah.
Right, that right there. Absolutely. Not taking up your evening, just being able to see a face and say thank you and breaking bread.
I'm in.
I to me, that's because to me, we're building more than just this thing. This is like family. We're building like a family here for the community.
Yeah.
So I'm all in. I'm just gonna throw that out there. KC United will help pay for some of it. I will, I'm serious. We'll put something in so that we just want folks to come. Let's just come. Let's just debrief a little bit. Just breathe and eat unhealthy and play pickleball.
We will have to have a little discussion about that. I think there's a great opportunity there. I'm open and honest. I want to be there.
And then we get Chicken and Pickle to be a sponsor.
Oh,
The whole thing
Exactly.
comes full circle.
I'm telling
Yeah.
you,
Nice.
Exactly.
look at
I got a
that.
connection there. Matt Beasler will help us, I'm sure. So
Man, that's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
we can get Matt to show up. He'd love to be involved in this. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'll just say, Shelley probably wouldn't be able to make something before the end of the year, but maybe what we could do, and I'm leaving in actually a week. I start my holiday travel. So, but maybe we could do like a January thing. Do you want to do a January thing? Is that okay? Or
let's do our sector meeting down at Chicken and Pickle. I love it. Let's go be physically active.
I was just gonna say that. I was gonna suggest selfishly that we start off 2023 with this, so I can come.
okay. So let's see. I don't know, Shelley, on the agenda, does it have our next date?
I think so. Let me pull it up real quick.
Yeah.
Yes, it says Wednesday, January 11th at noon.
Okay, let me, I'll reach out to Chicken and Pickle, make sure that we can get like, I don't know what they're like at midday on a Tuesday or what, no, today's Wednesday.
Are we thinking north or south?
Oh,
Because
that's a
south is
good
like
question.
right next to my office. I could run over there and meet you guys.
On the
North, I
south
couldn't
one?
get to on a Wednesday. There's the Overland Park one, and there's the North Kansas City one.
Which one's close to you, Jay?
I think he's at south.
Is that the one on 135th? Is that out
Yes.
there? Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
Adrian goes past 63rd. Do you, Adrian?
I don't go
You
past
don't go south.
635. brother.
You don't go out. You go south.
I go past 635 south. No, I'm just playing. I'm
All right.
down for whatever, man. Because North Kansas City is right across the bridge, and then we can do out that way. That's fine.
Okay, well, I'll tentatively plan on that. I'll confirm with Chicken and Pickle that we can like reserve some spaces and stuff like that. They're always so busy, but hopefully.
Sorry, I just got called out of patient. I was thinking the Overland Park one because that's the one close to my office, but because on a Wednesday, that's the only way I could get over there. But if it's a Tuesday, I got more flexibility.
We can do it Tuesday. There's no reason. No, Wednesday's not special.
Cool. Well,
All right.
I'll do some digging with Chicken and Pickle and follow up with you guys, okay?
And Robin, I'll be reaching out to you about contacting Lewis Mays from the Community Relations at Royals.
Yes, sorry, I was like hopping off right when I heard you say that. So sorry about ditching you there for a second, but sounds good. Yeah, that sounds great. I was just watching the Royals info session last night, and I was reading about how the community organizations they support, and I was like, well, we fit in great there. So
Yeah, we do. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Okay,
Thanks, everybody.
thank you.
Happy holidays. Be
You
safe,
guys are the
everyone.
best.
Thank you,
Happy
Ruth.
holiday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for coming,
Nice to see you
everybody.
all.
Nice to meet you, Ryan.
Take care, Natalie. Bye, guys.
Yeah.